pa pa eya eya pa 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 eya pa 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 eya eya.
Welcome, everybody, to Clancy-Maggiore Elementary School of the Arts. Locally Louisiana is on location, and the Jefferson Parish Schools and Cox Communications have some big things happening. So without further ado, we are jam-packed today. Let's get to it. This is one of two arts-integrated schools in the Jefferson Parish public school system. Over 500 kids from K through 5th grade receive music, visual arts, and dance classes at an entry grade level. Their school motto, work hard, get smart. Today we're here with our team from Cox Communication. We've got surprises from a select group of students and some special interviews for all of you viewing in the audience. All right, first of all, let's talk about who's on the show. We have three heavy hitters, and one of them is a Super Bowl champ. We've got Dr. James Gray. He's the superintendent of Jefferson Parish Schools. Dr. Gray's in his 29th year of serving as an educator. Oh, and yeah, he's won the 2024 award for Louisiana Superintendent of the Year. We'll discuss digital access and its role in enhancing student learning. Sunni LeBeouf will also join us on the show. She's a New Orleans native who earned a law degree before taking on the vice president job of Cox Communications, New Orleans market. I can't wait to talk to her about Cox's digital connectivity initiatives. And this guest here on Locally Louisiana, oh, he's just a Super Bowl champ, and now he's my teammate. Seriously, Malcolm Mitchell has teamed up with us at Cox to publish the children's book, A World Within Reach. He'll join us to discuss digital equity and digital literacy. All three of our esteemed guests were part of the panel discussion here at Clancy-Maggiore Elementary School. Their topic, the power of connected learning.
I'll start here. What does being connected mean to me? It's hope, and here's why. I grew up in an under-resourced community where you were restricted, your dreams, your desires for your future were restricted by the things that you saw. And unfortunately, there are some communities that don't have a plethora of visions in which one can grasp hold on, to believe, to dream, to understand that their life is more valuable than the things that they see in their community. When I got to the University of Georgia, I started reading books, and through books, I realized that the world had much more to offer, that my life was not restricted to the football field, that I could be anything that I decided to be, and books would be a resource for me to acquire that information, to have access to go after those dreams. Well, in 2021, when I became a Cox Digital Equity Ambassador, it became very clear that the internet, being connected, created those same opportunities. And for me, it's not just simply about the term connectivity. It's much bigger than that. It's hope for my life beyond the immediate circumstances that I am born into. That's what it means to me. The possibilities for my life being greater than the unfavorable situation that I may or may not have been born into.
That is absolutely correct. Connection is what bridges the divide, and that is certainly what we're focused on. And with that, Lee, we'd love to hear your perspective as well.
It's tough to follow, Malcolm. I'll give it a shot. You know, to me, connected really means access to resources. And, you know, Malcolm mentioned it a bit. I grew up in a rural area of Louisiana in Faraday and Vidalia, Louisiana, in Concordia Parish, and my mother was a elementary school teacher. And I was telling Dr. Gray this morning when I walked into the building, I remember my last 2 weeks of summer vacation every year, I was down at the elementary school putting up bulletin boards for my mother. I did that for about 10 years before I escaped that duty. But at the time, growing up in a relatively modest upbringing, you know, I didn't know what we didn't have. I felt like we had love, we had access to public education, and I felt like we were truly blessed. I still feel that way today. But as I've grown and I've worked for corporations like Cox, who have just abundance of resources, I've seen the impact that when corporations like Cox share with community schools, the power of bringing so much more than I had as a child to the classroom, to the teachers, right? Because the teachers are probably the best resources many children have. Access to resources is not just about connectivity that we provide in schools, as Malcolm said. It's about access to so much more. And you know, what we provide to Jefferson Parish schools and many of the schools that we serve are just the table stakes to provide that digital equity. But the giving beyond, the events like this where children can have new PCs to access the internet, where you can have access to a person who played in the NFL. I mean, to me, that is access to resources that can change lives.
The daily creed at Clancy-Maggiore says that these elementary kids are smart. That stands for successful, motivated, accountable, respectful, and trustworthy. One person who's very familiar with the Blue Ribbon School is Jefferson Parish Superintendent Dr. James Gray, and he joins us now on Locally Louisiana. Dr. Gray, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I heard that you are Louisiana Superintendent of the Year. Congratulations on that. That's no small feat. So what does that honor mean to you?
For me, the biggest thing is it's really not my award. So I'm more like the face of the school district, but it's more about the work that the teachers do, the administrators, support staff. The fact that we have a strong community that supports us has allowed us to be successful. And when you have that level of success, you get that level of recognition. So although I'm honored to get that award, it's more about the people that work with me as opposed to me myself.
So the theme here today is the importance of digital equity and digital literacy. Can you boil that theme down a little bit for our audience at home?
Well, I think the biggest piece is making sure that everybody has access, whether it's a kid, teachers, administrators, but also our community as a whole. One of the things that we want to be able to do is make sure that our kids, no matter where they are, have access to viable materials that allows them to expand their learning. And the fact that we're able to do it through our school system and have such a strong network and partnership with Cox, it puts our kids in a position to where they can be more successful.
Yeah, I love that. Put it all in their hands and they can rule the world. So why was it essential for you to be involved in today's event specifically?
One, we get an opportunity to promote reading. And I would say, having Malcolm here and getting to see a Super Bowl ring and a Super Bowl champion was a plus. But in addition to that, the fact that we give an opportunity to kids to understand that reading is not out of style, that is something that really can be rewarding for you. But at the same time, too, it can be something that you actually can provide for other students in the future. So the fact that Malcolm is an author, you give lens to kids to say, you know what, this is something that I can do as well. And so just to be a part of something that is positive, to let kids know that the more you read, the more you can expand your thought processes, because we all know that your life experiences and how you see the world dictates how you move as an adult. And so the more experiences you have, you're not living in your own little bubble, you're actually expanding that bubble. And so the more kids read, the more they understand different worldviews, which is something that's going to serve them very well when they become adults.
Yeah. And then also using your imagination,
No doubt.
and expanding that confidence, because reading is one of those pieces that when you struggle as a kid, you kind of revert to yourself. So I love that you guys are such big advocates for that. Now, 30 years experience, nearly 30 years experience, again, is nothing to sneeze at, okay? Especially as a leader in education. How would you describe the role of digital access today and its ability to maybe enhance a student's learning here in Jefferson Parish?
There's no way we could survive without this. We not only have a virtual school that provides education for kids who don't fit the traditional school model, but we also have so many programs that go through some type of digital access. The fact that we're having online classes, we have to be able to handle some of the teacher shortages that we have, to be able to do data analysis through programming, make sure that we have tutoring opportunities that we can do virtually or through programming. Although, the teachers are the most influential factor in that classroom, having that digital access gives them better tools in order to meet the needs of those students.
Coming up, she's a Cox Vice President and a recent New Orleans Businesswoman of the Year. She's Mrs. Sunni LeBeouf, and she joins us on the show next. 8 deserving Clancy-Maggiore students are going home extremely happy today. They received a free Google Chrome laptop this morning in a giveaway courtesy of Cox Communications. This is all a part of Cox's efforts to keep everyone connected to the information superhighway. And we're joined by someone who knows all about education and success. She's the New Orleans Market Vice President, Mrs. Sunni LeBeouf. Sunni, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am just so excited to be here and so excited about what's happening in this space.
I just want to give you your flowers and to your team as well. This has been an incredible event, and you can see it on all of the students' faces, not only the deserving ones that got the prize today, but the students as a whole. In terms of those 8 students, what exactly were those qualifications that gave them that amazing experience?
Sure. So we were excited to honor students for test scores. And so we reached out to the school, who's been a great partner, to ask for suggestions on how we could make sure we were rewarding the appropriate students. And they assisted by sharing test score information, and we went from there. So we're just excited that we were able to share that with students today.
You are a New Orleans native, like myself. How does it feel in your current position to be a role model and an extremely positive influence, especially to these kids today?
Well, it's just a real honor and a privilege to be able to do the work that we do each day. So at Cox Communications, we're all about connection. And so I love that the services that we provide are related to connection, but we also are always thinking about how we can connect with community like we are today. How can we connect with our teams and with our customers? So connection is the word of the day, and I think we've nailed it on this one. I'm so excited about what we've done here with students in Jefferson Parish.
I think nailed it is probably an understatement. Now, how is Cox keeping people connected to the internet, right? So, what is the feedback you're receiving from some of the community about the importance of staying connected, especially in today's era? It's a digital age.
Absolutely. Well, we know that the internet and being connected to the information highway is really critical. It is just a part of the fabric of our society. We know that students perform academically when they have access to the internet, but not only that, adults can have an improved quality of life through work opportunities, school opportunities, and also socially we interact in a way that involves the internet. So making sure that our community is connected is absolutely critical, and we have affordable internet programs to make sure that everyone has access to high-speed internet. Is something that we're very focused on here in the New Orleans market and really throughout the Cox footprint. So proud of the work we're doing in that space to ensure digital equity.
Yeah. Now, how can customers and members get involved in supporting Cox's digital connectivity initiatives?
So our public affairs team does an incredible job in the community. And we always create opportunities for engagement where the community can join us in the work that we're doing just when we come together as a community. So we typically will share information via the ordinary outlets, and that's a way for us to connect with community. But most importantly, we just want to make sure that people are aware of our affordable internet options. We want to make sure that everyone in the community has the opportunity to be connected and to have access to high-speed internet. So that has been a focus. So we're sharing information throughout the community and through our partners, and that's something that we'll continue to do. So we appreciate our partners who join with us in that effort because connection is so important.
I love that. Your motivation and the representation that you display is very key, especially with the community and the initiatives that you guys are pushing towards. I want to thank you so much, Sunni, for joining us today. It has been a pleasure to meet you, not only meet you, but get a chance to talk to you about these initiatives. Thank you so much for joining us, and I really hope we get a chance to sit down and talk again.
Well, thank you for having me, and I will look forward to that. I love your energy, and thank you for being here.
So check out this pep rally. These kids at Clancy-Maggiore Elementary are excited about today's special guest speaker, and honestly, I am too. I am not gonna lie to y'all. He and his teammates won so many football games, and now, thanks to the partnership with Cox Communication, I get to call you my teammate. Welcome, Malcolm Mitchell, to Locally Louisiana. Welcome, Malcolm. Thank you for joining us today.
I am extremely happy to be here, and yes, we are teammates.
Yes, I'm excited. So, Malcolm, you're a University of Georgia graduate.
Correct.
You have won a Super Bowl championship, which is nothing to sneeze at, by the way, and you are a Community Service Award winner. Where does your drive come from when it comes to these things that you've done in the aspects of your life? And not to just be a champion, right? But also to be someone who's willing to give back to the community with what you do.
Yeah, it's a complex question for me to answer, but the starting spot is witnessing my mother. I grew up in a single-parent household. I saw her overcome breast cancer when I was in elementary school. I watched her fight through poverty. I watched her wake up every day and put her best foot forward, and she never made excuses. She took care of her children, and she persevered. So I think watching her do that embedded those ideas and philosophies into my brain, such as life is not simply about what you do for yourself, but what you do for others. That just because you can play sports doesn't mean that you've maximized who you are as an individual.
That's true.
And we're stronger together than apart. And I truly believe that the value of an individual's life is not rooted in their ability to run, jump, or catch passes, but just having the motivation, inspiration, and encouragement to wake up every day and try.
Yeah.
So my mother is probably the reason for, if not everything, majority of it.
So not only are you a football legend in your own right, you are also a children's author. And that is a huge transition, right? I am going to read this book to my 4-year-old when I get home. I'm very excited about it. So tell us a little bit more about this latest project with Cox Communication and what brought you to Jefferson Parish today.
Yeah. I grew up a struggling reader, and I understood the value of football and sport, but I did not always understand the value of an education. I got to the University of Georgia, and I concluded the most self-empowering tool we could possess is the ability to read. That access to information, that exposure to ideas would help me understand that my life was more valuable than what I did on the football field. Yeah. The only challenge is I had never voluntarily read a book, so I struggled. I started reading picture books as an SEC All-American to become more confident in reading. And then I created a foundation and started writing picture books to inspire kids to read. In 2021, I became a Cox Digital Equity Ambassador, which meant I was able to go out in communities and embrace the ideal and understanding of connectivity through the internet. And I noticed the same thing I was trying to do as a reader, access to information, exposure to more that the world had to offer that would give me hope. It's the same thing that could be accomplished through connectivity. Yeah. That's what created the relationship. And a world within reach is the opportunity to bring those two worlds together. My understanding of the value of reading and my newfound understanding of the power of connectivity. And I'm here to share this story with students and continue to advocate for those two things, literacy and connectivity, because I think they are powerful.
I love the fact that there's so many, and if you want to show the camera, there's so many beautiful visual images in this book that you can tell the story just by looking at the pictures, which is amazing because my son, again, who is 3, he's turning 4, he reads his books visually. So for you to say that, I immediately connected with that, and it's brilliant how visually it tells this story, so you can get the story in 2 ways, so multi-factor ways to get the story. I think it's brilliant. I thought that was brilliant. Now, why are digital equity and digital literacy so important? You started to touch on that a little bit. And how does not being connected to the internet impact children across the country, you think?
So let's define digital equity in my terms. There are some communities that have access to a reliable internet service, and there are some communities that do not. It's no different than poverty pockets and book deserts. There are some students who have access to print, and there are some students who do not. So for me, it's all about everyone being on that equal playing field. And those who do not have access are truly deprived from a resource that can help them learn, excel, grow, be empowered, and enrich their future. The other aspect that I'll point out is digital literacy, because it's one thing to have a resource.
Yes.
It's a completely different thing to understand how to use the resource to empower your future. I always use this example. If you give my 4-year-old a hammer versus giving a handyman a hammer, you're going to get two different outcomes because one knows how to use that tool to build and another one knows how to use it to destroy. So digital literacy to me is understanding how to use the power of the internet to enrich your future, and also understanding some things to stay away from that could cause some disturbances along your way.
So where can viewers go to learn more about A World Within Reach, and how can they get it for their children?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. This book is free.
Wow.
All you have to do is go to cox.com/read and download it, and you can share it with your family, your friends, your community, and I've written other picture books, but this one with Cox, we wanted to make sure that it was free for any and everyone to have, because I think the message is most important. So cox.com/read, you will see a button that says download for free, and it will be yours.
My teammate, everybody, Malcolm Mitchell. Now that's a wrap here on another amazing episode of Locally Louisiana. Now you know the drill. If you've missed something or you just want to binge watch some episodes, we got you. Log on to watch.yourview.com. I'll see you guys next time. Later.